Hi, this is Carol Parisi. Today we're here to talk about some rumblings that are going on in School District 46. Through the Freedom of Information Act, there have been over 400 pages that have exposed some things. Today we have Marshall Norris and Paul Mitchell to speak on those things. Paul, what have you found?
Well, we had a hard-fought election here this April 5th, in which we had 3 openings in the school board, 2 incumbents ran for re-election, and 3 more challengers. So we had 5 people vying for 3 seats. What we've discovered since the election through this Freedom of Information Act request, we received over 300 pages of emails, all from School District 30, telling us about the abuses that were going on of school district resources, of administrators and board members' clout and access to take advantage of the access and of the influence that they had to benefit themselves at the expense of the taxpayers, the parents, and especially the students of D46.
Is this a Tea Party initiative? That's what's been said.
Oh
that
no,
this is a party initiative.
This is not about the Tea Party. This is not about anybody aggrandizing themselves. This is simply about letting people know that where they think their tax money is going, into the classroom to educate their students, isn't in fact where the money is going.
This is not a Tea Party event at all. This, for me and for many others like me, is about concerned parents saying, why are my tax dollars not being used to educate my child? And more importantly, why am I learning of decisions that are being made by the school district where my child is not safe? As a parent, I'm extremely concerned. Some of the emails I've seen, some of the past decisions I've seen, I'm concerned for my child, for my child's safety, which comes way before my tax dollars. But now I'm concerned, why am I spending money?
Specifically, what are you concerned about your child's safety?
Specifically with regard to my child's safety, I'll give you 2 examples.
Okay.
Recently, we learned of a business manager that was hired from Wisconsin into our schools. He never took the position because of an investigation that happened by a local newspaper, but there was never a sex offender background check done on this business manager. It is required by Illinois law. Anyone who is to be around our children should have a background
Absolutely.
check. Another example would be just recently where a safety officer from Haynesville, Illinois, complained about the fact that when he drove past one of our schools, Prairie View, after the big snowstorm, all of the fire safety exits were blocked. And yet there are 400 children in that school in class. And he had to demand that the fire department come out and demand that the school shovel out those.
Who is responsible to actually remove that
Our
snow?
superintendent, it's the buck stops at the top. Therefore, we pay our superintendent, and we pay her well, over $215,000 a year to ensure that decisions are being made, first and foremost, to keep our children safe. And as a mother, as a parent, I'm not happy.
But the superintendent probably during this snowstorm was busy, maybe. What?
Oh, yes, she was. She was certainly busy. She was doing campaign activity. She was working to re-elect the board members who had been so supportive, who had given her a 14% raise, and who were promising the unions that they were going to get what they wanted to get at the bargaining table.
Well, wait a second now. But, I mean, you saying she was campaigning during
Absolutely. In these pages of email,
times?
we have an email from Ellen Carell, the D46 superintendent, addressed to another district superintendent. The quotation here is, Mary Garcia is wondering how many signs or flyers you would take. She wrote that on her D46 email account during working hours to another school superintendent. She's doing campaign activity in her compensated time when, as a custodian of the state and federal funds that the school district gets, she's prohibited by law from doing any political activity on work or off time.
She was doing this, okay, so what I'm understanding, it was done on school emails during school time when kids were not able to get out of fire exits. Tell me something about a campaign manager. I've heard some things about a campaign manager.
Well, as you probably know, the State Board of Elections requires candidates for local office or any office in the state, when they raise or expend over $1,000 or more, when they reach that threshold, they have to form a campaign committee and report their contributions, both in kind and in cash, and report their expenditures. The Facklum and Garcia campaigns have not done that, and we have an email from their campaign manager explaining this. He writes, anything you spend counts towards the $1999.99 that you and Mary would be allowed to spend. He means without reporting it. He says, the only way around it would be to lie and pay me cash. Then I could claim that I'm volunteering for you.
This isn't a FOIA email and documented.
Mhm.
What about, I heard some gifts that were given for voter registration?
Well, the board vice president, Sue Facklin, one of the candidates running for re-election, is a voter registrar. She's registered with the county clerk's office to be able to register people to vote. And in one of these emails, she describes how she would go into the high schools and register 18-year-olds to vote, giving them gift cards as a reward for registering to vote. She writes, "Don't let them turn us in. Gifts to register to vote is probably illegal. I did offer Erica, that's Mary Garcia's 18-year-old daughter, more gift cards if she can gather up more friends."
Marshall, as a mother and as a taxpayer, what do you have to say about this? And
It's extremely disconcerting for me. You know, when I think about 18-year-olds who are just now getting their right to vote, what they're being taught about the process, when children don't understand the lives that were fought and given so that they could have that right to vote, and to haphazardly be introduced into the system thinking that it's about some quid pro quo by the very people, again, who we are entrusting to educate our children, it concerns me.
you're entrusting these people on your taxpayer dollars to educate your children.
Exactly, and to be an example for our children. Some of us, when we are put in positions of power, when we are on the school board, when we're superintendent, certain roles, children are looking to you as an example. This is the example that we are paying people. While we're paying them, this is the example that they're giving to our children.
I'm going to ask both of you, is it legal to give gift cards to register to vote?
To the best of my understanding, that's a felony, and it's a federal felony.
It's a federal felony.
School District 46, all FOIA'd, all going to be online.